Hey there, Soil Secret Studio family. Welcome back to another game-changing episode. If you're watching this, chances are you've wrestled with those bulky worm bins, dealt with the funky smells, or wondered why you're not seeing the soil transformation you've been promised. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on something that might just revolutionize how you think about building healthy living soil. What if I told you there's a way to attract an entire underground workforce of wild worms to your garden, using nothing more than something you probably already have in your pantry? No bins, no maintenance headaches, just pure, natural soil magic. Let's dive into this ancient secret that modern gardeners are rediscovering. Here's something most gardening videos won't tell you. The worms thriving naturally in your local ecosystem are far superior soil builders than anything you'll cultivate in a plastic bin. Wild earthworms have evolved over millennia to work specifically with your native soil conditions, creating extensive tunnel networks that can extend several feet deep into the earth. These native species don't just process organic matter on the surface, they're literally restructuring your soil from the ground up, creating channels that improve water infiltration, root penetration, and oxygen exchange in ways that surface-dwelling composting worms simply cannot match. Traditional worm bins come with limitations that the gardening industry rarely discusses openly. Most commercial worm bins house red wigglers, which are fantastic composters but poor soil improvers because they live primarily in the top few inches of organic matter. They're not designed to burrow deep, create lasting soil structure, or handle the diverse conditions found in actual garden beds. The real secret to vibrant soil isn't just about having more worms, it's about having the right worms, doing the right work in the right place. A handful of deep-burrowing native earthworms, actively working through your garden beds, will create more lasting soil improvement than a bin full of red wigglers processing kitchen scraps on your patio. Wheat powder, or simple wheat flour, might seem like an unlikely gardening amendment, but it's actually a powerhouse worm attractant based on solid ecological science. When you introduce wheat flour to your soil, you're not just providing worm food, you're initiating a cascade of biological activity that makes your garden irresistible to these beneficial creatures. The starches and proteins in wheat flour serve as premium fuel for soil microorganisms, which multiply rapidly when this food source becomes available. As bacteria and beneficial fungi break down these complex carbohydrates into simpler compounds, they create exactly the kind of nutrient-rich environment that earthworms actively seek out. The science behind this attraction is fascinating and involves understanding the underground food web. Worms don't actually consume raw wheat flour directly. Their digestive systems aren't equipped to process it efficiently in that form. Instead, they're attracted to the explosion of microbial life that wheat flour stimulates. As bacteria colonize the flour particles and fungi send out their thread-like hyphae to break down the starches, they're essentially pre-digesting this material and transforming it into a worm buffet. This microbial biomass, rich in proteins and easily absorbable nutrients, is what draws earthworms from surrounding areas like a beacon in the darkness of the soil. Beyond its role as a worm attractant, wheat powder delivers overlooked benefits for overall soil structure and nutrient cycling. As microorganisms process the flour, they produce organic acids and enzymes that help unlock mineral nutrients bound in soil particles. The fungi that colonize wheat-amended areas produce glomalin, a sticky protein that literally glues soil particles together into stable aggregates, the foundation of excellent soil structure. This means that even before the worms arrive, you're already beginning to improve your soil's ability to hold both moisture and air. Creating your worm attraction zone begins with understanding where wild earthworms naturally thrive. Look for areas in your garden that retain moisture without becoming waterlogged, preferably in beds with existing organic matter and some shade during the hottest part of the day. Avoid recently disturbed or compacted soil. Worms need to be able to move freely, and they won't establish populations in concrete hard clay or loose sandy areas that dry out quickly. The application method makes all the difference between success and disappointment. For surface application, sprinkle a light dusting of wheat flour, roughly 1 to 2 tablespoons per square foot, over your prepared area, then immediately cover it with 2 to 3 inches of organic mulch like shredded leaves, straw, or grass clippings. The mulch serves multiple critical functions. It keeps the flour moist, prevents it from forming a crusty barrier, shields it from direct sunlight that could cause premature breakdown, and keeps the area dark and cool, conditions worms absolutely love. Water gently but thoroughly after application, aiming for the consistency of a wrung-out sponge throughout the top several inches of soil. For even better results, consider the burying method, especially if you're dealing with persistent pest pressure or working in an area with lots of surface-feeding birds. Dig shallow trenches about 4 to 6 inches deep and 4 to 6 inches wide, running them through your garden beds. Mix your wheat flour with enough water to create a thick paste. This prevents it from clumping and helps it distribute more evenly through the soil. Place this mixture into your trenches, cover with the excavated soil, and top with organic mulch. This technique concentrates the microbial activity and worm attraction in specific zones, creating worm highways through your garden. Timing and consistency matter enormously for sustained success. Begin with weekly applications for the first month, then scale back to every 2 weeks once you start seeing evidence of increased worm activity. Look for small mounds of worm castings appearing on the soil surface, particularly after rain or watering. If you're not seeing results after 3 to 4 weeks, troubleshoot by checking soil moisture, ensuring your flour isn't forming a water-repellent crust on the surface, and considering whether pesticide residues or recent fertilizer applications might be deterring worms. One critical caution: avoid using too much wheat powder at once, as large amounts can ferment, heat up, and create an overly acidic environment that actually repels worms and attracts pests. Within 4 to 8 weeks of consistent wheat powder applications, you should start observing tangible changes in your soil's physical structure. The most obvious sign is an increase in worm castings, those nutrient-dense granular mounds that appear on the soil surface. These castings aren't just worm waste, they're packages of plant-available nutrients, beneficial bacteria, and humic substances that improve soil fertility far beyond their modest appearance. As worm populations establish themselves, you'll notice your soil becoming more crumbly and easier to work, with improved drainage in heavy clay soils and better moisture retention in sandy conditions. The transformation extends far beyond what the worms accomplish directly. The microbial explosion triggered by regular wheat flour additions creates a living soil ecosystem that functions more efficiently at every level. Beneficial bacteria populations increase dramatically, improving nutrient cycling and producing natural plant growth hormones. This enhanced biological activity means that nutrients already present in your soil become more available to plants, often reducing or eliminating the need for supplemental fertilizers. Long-term benefits compound over seasons and years, creating genuinely sustainable soil health that requires decreasing inputs as the system matures. Gardens treated with this method typically show improved drought resistance as worm tunnels increase water infiltration and the enhanced soil structure holds moisture more effectively. Plant health improves measurably, with stronger root systems, more vigorous growth, and increased resistance to both diseases and pest pressure. Best of all, once established, a healthy wild worm population maintains itself with minimal intervention. Simply continuing to add diverse organic matter through mulching and composting keeps the system thriving indefinitely. Now that you've mastered attracting wild worms with wheat powder, consider how this integrates with other regenerative practices to create a truly thriving garden ecosystem. The ripple effects of a robust wild worm population extend throughout your entire growing system in surprising ways. Healthy soils with active worm populations produce plants with stronger cell walls and more complex secondary metabolites, making them naturally less attractive to pest insects and more resistant to diseases. The improved nutrient availability means vegetables develop richer flavors and higher nutrient density. Your watering requirements decrease as soil structure improves, and you'll find yourself spending less time fighting problems and more time simply harvesting abundant, healthy produce. So here's my challenge to you, Soil Secret Studio community. Try this method in just one garden bed this season and document what you observe. Take before and after photos, note changes in plant vigor and soil texture, and share your results with fellow gardeners. We're building a movement of soil health advocates who understand that the secret to incredible gardens isn't found in expensive inputs or complicated systems. It's right beneath our feet, waiting to be awakened with simple, natural methods like this one. If this video opened your eyes to a new way of thinking about soil health, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes where we continue uncovering these time-tested gardening secrets. Share this with a fellow gardener who's struggling with traditional worm bins, and let's grow this community of soil regenerators together. Until next time, keep digging deeper into those soil secrets.